Welcome back to the Rose Gallery. This is Curious Expedition, also known as the exploration game that is not Renowned Explorers. There is still plenty of exploring to be done, though. Now we have to pick an explorer first. They all have different starting items, different crew, and a special ability. My man Charles Darwin's got the gold frame because I beat the game with him. But I think we're going to go with a random explorer, which may or may not turn out well for us. So our goal in this game is to get enough fame to have a statue made of ourselves, to become the most renowned explorer, if you will. We're going to be playing on Expedition difficulty, the standard. And we immediately have a choice of where we want to explore. You always start with a jungle or a dry lands. And I'm going to go to the jungle. Whenever you start an expedition, you also get a quest. This guy wants us to deliver a message to a village. Usually you just want to accept these. There is a consequence of losing status if you mess it up, but they're pretty easy generally. So let's get on our way. This game has a very Oregon Trail-y vibe to it that I kind of like. Music's not bad either. Although on the whole, I definitely prefer Renowned Explorers. So we're going to grab some water. I doubt we'll need it as we're not in a desert, but just in case. And that's about all we can do here. So right now, most of the world is obscured. Our goal is to find the Golden Pyramid, at which point we can end our expedition. But it looks like there's something over here, so let's go there first. So when you travel, it costs a bit of sanity, which is our bar at the top. Traveling across different kinds of terrain costs different kinds of sanity. Not really different kinds of sanity, but a certain amount. So grasslands is pretty easy. But let's check out this cave. We've got a torch, so we can explore without making a roll. And it looks like, ooh, this is a pretty good haul. So we got beans, which are sanity items. Whiskey, which also gives us more sanity. And a voodoo doll. So before we go any further, we should actually find out what explorer we're playing as. So it looks like Mary Kingsley. And let's see what her abilities are. She cannot use weapons in combat, but reduced aggro chance. And she started with some chocolate bars, a shovel, torch. So I wouldn't say she has a great loadout, but I've seen worse. So now we want to get to that village. Now forests cost a bit more to move through. If we had a machete, they would cost less. But I want to check out this real quick. So it looks like we got a trader. So when you're out on an expedition, you use the barter system. Which is to say, if I find something I want, I have to trade something I have. I'm not real keen to trade. Maybe the voodoo dolls. So I think we're going to go with 2 whiskeys and a first aid. Whiskey is a stamina I keep saying stamina. Whiskey is a sanity refilling item. First aid will heal infected wounds gained during combat. So we're going to grab these. And then we'll head over to the village. So whenever you go on an expedition, you start with a certain standing. And that's your standing with the local natives, which can be seen at the top right. So we have a standing of 2. It goes between -10 and +10. Apparently these guys like us, so they're just going to give us food. How nice of them. So we can deliver our letter here, which will give us more standing. And standing is important because it lets you recruit new villagers. Normally you can go into the field with only 2 people and an animal. But if you recruit someone in the field, they count as a free extra. I could also recruit an animal if I wanted more carry space, but let's see. This guy has a good reputation and gives more animal capacity. Same for this guy. We're going to go with Kusamatid. And standing is also important because when you have high standing, you can rest in villages. And resting will restore your sanity. Occasionally you get an event, like these guys want one of my whiskey. I'm going to refuse. I'll lose standing for that. But I want my alcohol. We could also trade here. So these tusks fetch a pretty high price back in London. So maybe we can trade our beans for some. The beans also restore sanity, but they do so at a very slow rate. You can only use 1 every few turns. So let's get back to that exploring. So here we have a shrine. They have items that we can use to gain fame or money, but something bad is going to happen if we take them. This is the first adventure, so I'm going to go ahead and risk it. So this, very unfortunately, is going to cause a giant lake to appear. And we're a little low on sanity, so let's eat some chocolate. Actually, one of the reasons why we're losing so much sanity is because we're overburdened right now. We're carrying too much stuff. So let's eat some of those beans. Eat our meat, and then we should be good. And we've got another shrine here. I'm already kind of full on stuff, so I don't want to cause another disaster. Notice that the way backward is kind of blocked off now. There's really no way I can get past the water. That is why it's kind of risky to take stuff off shrines. You can lock yourself out of the way forward or backward and put yourself in an unwinnable state. That's pretty good, though. So this is a waterfall. This is a resting point. We can refill water here if we needed it, but most importantly, we can rest and restore sanity. And we get made fun of. I'm gonna let it slip. So normally in circumstances like that, we might lose loyalty. And as loyalty goes down, it starts at 2 usually. There's more of a chance of mutinies and people leaving the party. And other bad stuff. Damn. At least someone's having a good time. So I don't want to spend too long resting because if you look at the left over here, you'll see our rivals are looking for their own golden pyramids. And if I find mine first, I get a fame bonus. So speaking of finding it, we also have a compass at the top left, and that kind of points in the general direction of where the golden pyramid is. So we're going to head northeast as much as we can. Although we'll try to avoid these mosquitoes. And go towards these butterflies. And here we have our pyramid. Unfortunately, this is what happens when sanity falls too low. Bad events start to happen. Like here, our animal went, Mr. Jenkins, Sir Jenkins, I'm sorry, he's a knight, went a bit crazy. And we could kill him, or we could ignore our poor friend and lose a bit of loyalty, which I think I'm going to do because this expedition is almost over. So Kusumated, as we recruited him, does not want to leave his home. We could convince him, though, which is a role. One met with success. Now, between expeditions, we get to pick a perk. Gun expert is not bad. If I had a gun, I do not. None of these are really great, but we're going to go with protector. In theory, the lady I'm playing as probably shouldn't be getting into fights, as she's a pacifist, but you never know. So it looks like we did pretty good, but we're going to have to make up some dividends. So here's all the stuff we found. And we can choose to either keep it, sell it, or put it in a museum. So the tusks we're definitely going to sell because they're worth more. as are the jewels. But these other 2 golden items we will give as gifts. And now we get to pick a new expedition. Looks like either a desert or the Arctic. We can also see what kind of things we're expecting to encounter. Like at the bottom, you can see there's 1 native village, 1 shrine, so on and so forth. We're going to go to the desert. So this guy wants us to fight a hyena. I'm not really into fighting, so I'm going to refuse. And as long as you have the most fame, or at least a little bit of fame, people will want to join your expedition. So let's see, who do I have right now? A translator, a warrior, and an animal handler. I feel like I'm pretty set, so let's say no. We can also purchase equipment. In general, buying more sanity items is always a good bet. You always want to keep at least 1 health kit on you, but I'm going to go with 2. And there's also some miscellaneous stuff. Ropes are good for one-off events. Occasionally you need them. Climbing gear helps you move over hill terrain. Bullets give you more combat dice. But I think we're good with that. So we're going to get a little extra water. And then we will take off. Deserts require water to move across. If you don't have water, it takes a much bigger strain on your sanity. And it looks like there's something down here, so let's check this out first. Probably a cave. And some decent stuff, actually. Weather balloons will reveal items on the map. A treasure map, we'll take that for a second. Probably don't need machetes because we're not in a forest. So treasure maps let you see an image, and if you can find the square that they point to, you get some treasure. I have generally pretty bad luck with them, but we'll see. Weather balloons, on the other hand, will reveal hidden things on the map, or things you have not yet discovered. Like a portal. That's interesting. Probably don't need to see the trader yet, but I do want to check out this portal. These will take you to a different map where you will stay for a set number of turns before being returned to the real world. And they usually have pretty good stuff in them. All right, we can let someone drink from this. I'm going to let our warrior drink. So now he can heal faster. Not too bad. And this time, I will let our animal know, our translator. All right, so I think it might be time to talk about leveling up. So as we explore, we get exploration points. You can see at the top right. And you can spend these to promote your party members. So for instance, I can make our warrior have more health, and it improves one of his abilities. So reduces aggro chance. So let's do that. We'll improve our animal handler. Let's bring everyone up to 1 star, actually. So leveling up will generally improve health, improve an ability, and finally, once you get high enough level, it will improve the amount of dice you can roll. And if I can ever find someone to fight, we will talk about what those dice do. Also, a fun note, to throw a wrinkle in the compass thing, we have magnetic mountains. So if you're near a mountain that is magnetic, your compass will always point toward it and not toward the Golden Temple. So we'll take a rest in this village. We'll say that their local life is superior to ours. And then it looks like we might have something to fight over here. This character is definitely not made for fighting, but I do want to show off how combat works. So, when you start a fight, you assemble your character's dice, and you roll. So the translators, scientists, etc. roll generally blue dice with eye icons and mind icons. Warriors will roll red dice. And animal handlers and others usually roll green dice. So once you have your roll, you can assemble the dice, and different combinations will do different things. Like, for example, running and thinking will let you headbutt an enemy. Defensive dice will give you a shield, which will protect you from a certain amount of incoming damage. And you can also save dice and roll again. You have 3 rolls per round. So now we use our intelligence and our shield to think of a tactical advantage. Or sword and eye for a precision attack. Sadly, with one blue die, there's not much we can do. But as I said, this character is not really made for fighting. So this could take a while. Alright, it might be time to run. We'll try one more round. Yeah, unfortunately we've lost the ability to deal damage, so we're not gonna do anything actually. It's time to go. And that is why I should not have picked that fight. Thankfully, there's at least an oasis where we can rest. Now, if those tigers were to run into us, that would cause an immediate fight, and they would get to go first. That mommy wanted to fight us, and we're not really equipped to fight, so I just bailed. It's not ideal, but sometimes it's the best you can do. These stone circles will reveal camp points, ruins, or caves, or settlements. So it looks like there's a shrine down there. And we found a mission now. Here we can stay overnight, but we do have to make a payment. So I'm going to give him our... Man, this guy wants a lot. I'll give him our treasure map, our climbing gear, some ropes, and let's go with a few shovels. All right. Well, our missionary turned into an abomination. I would say that's bad luck on my part. I would say this is worse luck. So we're going to pillage this shrine. Shrines do have some warnings about what you're going to get. Like that one said it's cold. So now everything's going to freeze. Oh man, I was really hoping this was the Golden Pyramid. Got some dynamite. That'll have to do. Alright, I don't want to fight that abomination. It looks like Sir Jenkins is at it again. Go through all my whiskey reserves. So I can only hope that that question mark up there is the Golden Pyramid. It is. That was a mess. All right, let's pick a perk. I think we're going to have to pick Charismatic because we need more units to replace our old ones. So let's grab that guy. And I'm still in the lead, but barely. So I need money to replace basically my alcohol reserve. So, because I'm in the lead, I think I will sell everything I have. And we'll hit the Drylands next. But this video is getting kind of long, so I think I'll cut it there. That is the Curious Expedition. It's not easy.